Welcome to the Pixelberry Choices podcast, and today we're going to be talking about chapters 6 and 7 of Crimes of Passion Book 2. And before I start, I gotta say that the mystery is picking up its pace. So, we are here at Dracovia, and we initially came here for the accusations on Tristan that she murdered Juliana and new evidence is resurfaced. But then we debugged everything, we proved those theories are fake, evidences were made up, and then boom, Nadia, the opposition lawyer, was killed in Tristan's room. But thank God Tristan had a strong alibi, and so she got out of this. But someone definitely tried to frame Tristan, or it was just a murder in the wrong place. In the last two chapters, we saw a lot of things happening. So, in the sixth chapter, we had this massive dinner and a great banquet, sort of, with the royal family. And we saw their faces, and we also saw the last sibling of this Thorn family, Patrick, and I realized that they're lawfully called the Thorns, except for Tristan and Marguerite at this point, and even for Vasily. I know a lot of you guys might think that he is the killer. I'm not saying I don't think but I'm just saying he seems level-headed, right? Yeah. So, but other than that, I think they deserve the surname Thorn. Anyway, so then we see that Patrick comes in, and he was in Los Angeles, and he's a pretentious hipster and if I might say so, like an a-hole completely. And there is a year-old tradition of poisoning someone's drink in Dracovia, and there would be and it would smell like almonds if your drink has been poisoned. So before the great dinner, we get tips from Marguerite and Tristan, and also in a diamond scene you can choose to have Luke and Ruby on earphones, so they'll remind you of everything and everything will go smoothly, like how to place your weapons on the table, how to hold the cutlery, how to go about the knives, what to eat first, what to drink first, how to do that. You do one thing wrong and the queen is going to be pissed, like very, very pissed. And the queen doesn't like to be addressed as anything except for, if I remember, Your Majesty or something like that. I forgot. But yeah, that's the thing. So then we really ace this test if you choose to take help from Luke and Ruby, and if you don't take the help from them, then I think it's going to be a little harder. Let me know in the comments below if any of you didn't take their help but still aced the test, or how did it go. Let me know in the comments down below. So that is done, and of course the pretentious hipster Patrick tries to poison us, but we are the smart detective. We've smelled that almond, and we faked that, oh, we drank the poison, and then boom, his face was, he was trying to live record us, but we fooled them. And then we get sort of enraged, and Tristan got enraged too, and we got out and we planned our sweet revenge on the Patrick guy. So we hacked their Instagram account. We posted a really, really bad photo of him with a bad caption, like he was going through a breakup or something. And then all his masculine posts, they just go to the dustbin basically, because they're were meaningless at that point. And then Patrick, we blackmail Patrick that I'll give your Instagram account back, but you need to throw some drink on Maskim, his father's face, and that was a horrible. It was just a chaos and a fun. And then also Tristan, our main character, they steal a little together time, alone time, and that was that. But we don't learn much about who would be the killers. And in the next chapter, we knew that Tristan was going to be coronated or re-coronated. And also, a lot of people have noticed this, that there's been a lot of hookup scenes, like not per se hookup scenes, but touchy-feely, like a lot of intimate scenes with Tristan since chapter 1. So there's a big theory, and this is that this might be, I think you guys, after reading the chapter 7, you know where this is going, right? There is a lot of hookup scenes, but this could only point to the fact that you remember the Nanny Affair book 2 or some other books, something is going to happen because Tristan is keeping things. Remember, before Nadja's body was discovered, we were having a fight. Tristan and our main character. Main character was telling Tristan that we should go back to Dracovia. We should go back to America and leave Dracovia. Nobody loves you here. But Tristan seemed too attached to this. And Margaret, newsflash, she has found out somehow that our main character is attracted to Tristan, and we can't even hide. And Margaret just claims boldly that you have feelings for Tristan, and then we don't have anything other than to accept that because we cannot counteract that. So all the peoples were going on like, it's Margaret. I will give you guys that Margaret does seem a little too suspicious at this point because she's the only sibling that we're not suspecting, and choices did say that the killer is one of Tristan's siblings. So there we go. And she had this, as the writing had it, she had this smugness about her when she claimed that relationship thingy. So yeah, definitely Margaret, she definitely seems a little too suspicious. But yeah. But again, in the next chapter, we'll see that Tristan is reincarnated, and the coronation happened. So, and she was reincarnated, and well, she had this aura about herself, like she had this charm that any queen would have, or a king, depending on what gender you chose of Tristan. And also Margaret says that Tristan was brought up to be this. Tristan was groomed, Tristan was trained to be a queen, to follow on the suit of his father or her father, of their father. So they're going to follow the footprint. So we also try to convince Tristan that Tristan is definitely, with this dancing lessons and everything, Tristan is getting really fed up. But every time we try to have this conversation that we need to escape, Tristan says no, we can't, and that. So like I was saying, that something tells me something big is going to happen, like a crack in the relationship, because Tristan's mom, Victoria the queen, somehow Victoria is trying to set up Tristan with this princess from another region or a regime. I don't exactly remember. So definitely for financial gain and to strengthen the throne. And I don't know if our relationship will be accepted as well in that kingdom. And we also see how killing and spilling blood is just daily affair for this family, and in Dracovia, like, it's nothing they will think too much about. And we also have a fun time in that coronation party, recoronation party. Luke, Ruby, you enjoy with them. And then we see Olivia. Remember, for all the royal heir, royal romance fan, Olivia. And Olivia gave us some good intel. And newsflash, as Olivia says, Juliana's murder was not the center thing. Tristan, or blaming Tristan, wasn't the center thing in Juliana's murder or Nadja's murder. And we also got to know that Nadja and Juliana were very close. Maybe it was some romantic ways, it was hinted, but it was very subtle there. So that's a big thing, because we were thinking so far that it was all about the throne. But apparently, as Olivia put it, it was not directly about the throne, that it was not like someone had a problem with Tristan. They tried to frame Tristan by killing Juliana and now by killing Nadja. But things got worse, or all the things that happened because of the Heir Legitimization Act. So Juliana, Nadja, and alongside with Sebastian, they were trying to sort of pass a bill that will legitimize all the heirs, meaning Maskim, Victoria's children, but also Maskim and Evelyn's children, who is the mistress. So that side of the line, bloodline, they're not yet in line for the throne. And if that happened, then Vasily would be second in line. I know in my last video I said Vasily is in the second position, but he's not. Lydia is in the second position. But if the heir legitimization act passes, then Vasily would be second in line if Tristan gets framed or something happens to Tristan. So this changes things. Now we should go who gets most benefited from this. Lydia, right? Lydia or Lydia, whatever you want to call her, she gets the most benefit out of this. But as Lydia says, the whole killing thing with Nadia, it was so sloppy. It was not her thing. Now there's another theory. People saying it's Margaret. Yeah, there's been a theory that I came across on Reddit. It was saying that Margaret could be the killer, or I think my friend Macaulay came across this theory. Yeah, so yeah, exactly, that's right. And so the theory said that Margaret had her own fashion brand since forever, and she could operate that because no one had any kind of hopes from her. She was illegitimate. She was last in line. But if the Heir Legitimization Act gets passed indeed, and all the heirs are legitimized, then maybe Margaret won't be that free to do her own thing, and she will be needed to drop her fashion line. And could she do that for that? But not really, because if you go back to what I think is, Juliana had either an affair or an ex who was obsessive, because the letter Juliana wrote, which was brought in the courtroom as a letter written by Juliana to Tristan, wasn't a letter to Tristan, but indeed was a letter by Juliana to someone else. Who could it be? Sebastian? Could they be having an affair? But I don't think so, because Sebastian was the one who received the email from Juliana about how loving and caring Tristan is. I don't think Juliana would write those things. So someone Juliana knew, someone who was sort of taunting Juliana for months, like a secret admirer or super obsessed creep. I don't know like who it could be, but so this is a big theory. But in this chapter, we will see that in the 8th chapter, in today's chapter, Emika and Casper, we overheard them talking about Casper stealing something from the murder scene that could lead Casper to grave trouble, as Emika says. And the chapter description says that we have to persuade these twins to get some information out of him, and how can they lead us closer to the mystery. So two murders, probably they're linked together. Remember from the bonus scene of the last book that one person, the hooded figure who killed Juliana, and another person who was sort of pulling the threads, who was being addressed as Your Majesty. Could it be the Queen? Could it be the King? Because there are also possibilities. Maybe the person who killed on the field could be one of the siblings, and the person on the phone could be either the king or the queen. Or how is this gonna go? I'm baffled at this point. Who do you guys suspect the most until chapter 7? I still think I don't have enough concrete proof. Like, I think this character could be the killer, but the next moment I think no, they don't have. Maybe they have all the motives to kill, but it really isn't their style. Like Lydia or maybe Vasily. I think, but why would Vasily kill Juliana and Nadia? It doesn't benefit him at all, right? It would have benefited him if the Heir Legitimization Act had been passed, but it wasn't passed. So no, who could it be then? Margaret, wild shot. So far, I would say Astrid and Patrick. These two guys, they're entitled rich brats, and I think I cannot put anything past these two guys. These two will be on top of my suspicion list. And then Casper and Mika, I don't know what to think about them. We will see more about them in this chapter, 8th chapter. But I will say that Sebastian, he is projected as the bad guy throughout the book. I highly doubt he could be related to a lot of things. The letter could have been addressed to him, or something terrible he might have done, because he hates Tristan. He hates this whole illegitimate thing. He despises it a lot, like some other siblings of Tristan. But he could be like that Mr. some character from the unexpected heiress who was a bad guy but who actually didn't kill. It was her wife, his wife, who did the whole murder thingy with Amelia, remember? So actually it's the same. Amelia, come to think of it, the unexpected heiress, Amelia was fighting for bigger causes, right? She was making waves. People are noticing her. And then there was also things we thought maybe she got killed because of this. And it wasn't actually about those movements she did, but it was actually because of some truths she learned, which were also kind of closely related to her rebellious nature. But I think this might be something like this. We're thinking it's about the throne, it's about the Heir Legitimization Act, but at the end we might see the real reason of Juliana's murder, and maybe not just murder. They may be related to the Heir Legitimization Act or the throne race, but rivalry, whatever you want to call it. But I think there is something much deeper, much darker, much worse of a mystery is being kept from us, is being hidden from our eyesight. That was the reason for Juliana to die 8 years ago, and now it's the reason for Naja's to die. Because remember, why Naja had to be killed? The killer, if they wanted to get rid of Naja, they could have done that. They had 8 years to do that. They didn't do it. The case failed. Tristan invited Naja to reopen the Heir Legitimization Act, and then Naja was killed in Tristan's room. So a lot of things at stake here, a lot of things at stake, and I think we will see slowly the mystery, the layer of the mystery be peeled like we peel the layer of an onion. And my friends, I didn't hope to say this, I didn't think I would be saying this, but Crimes of Passion indeed is one of the Crimes of Passion 2 so far. Into chapter 7-8, it's one of the best mystery books I've read in the past 2 years since The Unexpected Heiress. Murder at Homecoming doesn't come close to this, and it's so far, by far, the best book of the year. And I can even go a little further and say it's the best book I've read since last September or August. Changed my mind. Alright guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, peace out.